So what we notice, he's at the bottom of his squat right now. He's doing a really good job. You can't see it from your angle, but he's not really contacting that front. So he's using his hips really well. But I think we might get more control as if we bring these knees out into contact, okay? So when you come up to the top position, obviously if I stand up, my knees are gonna come off those rails, but as I go down, I wanna push out into that a little bit and make contact here. That's gonna give me more stability at my, get my glutes more active, and give my pelvis a little bit more stability, which is gonna give my spine a little bit more stability, okay? If we're going down and we're diving in a little bit, we're gonna get a lot of stress on that inside of the knee, and it tends to make us roll into the inside of our foot, and it tends to get us on our toes as well, okay? So a couple more reps, but this time try to at least sustain contact until you get to that top position. And as you go back down, push out. Awesome. Let's pause right there, right at the bottom, right, that's it. So now what I'm noticing, as he makes contact, not only is, I think, his knee in a better position, but I can see the weight better in his heels. I can see the weight on the outside of his foot instead of the inside of his foot. And it seemed like he had a little bit better control further down.
And it gets my thighs parallel with my feet instead of...
Exactly. So what he's talking about there is if we looked at Larry from the top down, we don't want to see his thighs, his femur, inside of the angle of his foot. So he's saying by pushing out, now those two are at least in line with each other. And we call that's the minimally safe position, and that's why we've designed this thing. If you're just making contact, you're in a minimally safe position. For some people, especially if we got lower and lower floating, it might become important to get out even wider outside of the foot, but we never want to be diving inside of the foot. Okay, so we think that's a dangerous position and you can't produce as much force, not as stable. We think it actually probably leads to some injuries at the hip, knee, even at the foot. So that's a great point that he brings up. So we're going to do a couple more reps. I'm actually going to take this blue foam out and see if we can get all the way down when you start making contact here. Okay, so we'll do a couple more, maybe a set of 5. Again, on the way down, try to make contact. Good. So taking it out, it's going to be a little lower. A little bit of flop there, but that's the first rep. That was nice and controlled all the way down. You can see he's making contact. Real good.
So get back and I have that. That's why I like to grab out in front. So I don't tip out the back.
Yeah. So at home, Larry uses the bar in the front so he can get down real low and not fall back. And that's a good strategy to use if you have that available. So what I might do if I was going to tell him to go home and he didn't have a rail, I might split the difference here. Because with this, I felt like he was making contact and it would be a good workout. But to challenge him, I might go just 1 inch here. So add maybe 1 inch, and I think you wouldn't have that flop on that last inch. So it's a gradual progression. I think using the bar, we were talking about earlier, is great to develop mobility and to see how far you can go down, and it's a good warm-up. But to build strength, we want to limit the arms being involved and really try to challenge the muscles of the low back, hips, hamstrings, the whole thigh really, by maintaining good knee, hip, foot position. So now we're going to try to start, we're going to do a couple reps without the glute pad, and just see how well you can get up from this position. Get the real hands up, we're going to have you push out a little bit wider, actually push into that little resistance, lean forward and try to stand up a couple times. Good. And relax. So now we're controlling it all the way down, right? So a couple minutes break, me talking and jabbering on, allowed Larry to rest a little bit. Now all of a sudden you're controlling it all the way down to a 20-inch box. When before that was a little bit more difficult for you.
Learn to use this by keeping the pressure outside also, because at home the only pressure I was cognizant of or watching was just the pressure on the front of the knees.
Yeah, so
not to the outside.
Yeah, cool. So when he originally got oriented to the machine, he got a take-home point was to how to use the front knee guides, but wasn't really appreciating how the outside knee guides help you with that stability further down into the squat. So I think that's a pretty dramatic improvement, just in a couple minutes here of just simply pushing out into the knee guides. So now when Larry goes home, I think he'll maybe get a little bit more benefit out of using the squat guide.